Om. Welcome to Meaningful Mornings. Social scientists have analyzed the two qualities of humans that we are most drawn to, that we wish to have the most, are authenticity and depth. Please burn that into the purpose of your life, the purpose of why you're born, to nurture being more authentic and more deep. Meaningful Mornings is a training program, training us to evolve from sight to insight. Many of you are referring to the happiness series and how you learned more about confidence. Worldly confidence is when you use sight. Look at how popular I am. Look at how handsome I am. Like Prince Arjuna. Sacred confidence is when you use insight. You have a deep appreciation for who you are and so what you can do. You will know that you're becoming more authentic and deep when you feel like your titiksha shakti, your ability to endure, is more, is greater. Those who can endure, they're the ones who can be self-reflective. They're not bothered by this or that. Those who lack this ability to endure, they live at a functional level. It's always about popularity and beauty. I offer my deep appreciation to all of you, our crew, our seekers. This morning we celebrate 600 mornings into Srimad Bhagavad Gita. That's 180 hours that we have been actively listening to Prince Arjuna and more so Sri Krishna. That's 10,800 minutes. Really lovely numbers. I know we are all developing the Diksha. Bhagavad Gita's chapters 7 through 12, the focus is bhakti. How that plays out is becoming more bhagya, which in English means virtuous. Bhagya means to be fortunate. Those who have virtues are fortunate. The next section, and it's amazing that we're reaching this next section, is chapters 13 through 18, which focuses on jnana. And this will be equivalent to being joy. And so if you're following the system of Bhagavad Gita, one has to be virtuous before they are joyous. if one is not dedicated, and that's what we'll be focusing on in the happiness series tonight, if one is not dedicated to self-development, we can use terms like tattvamasi, that you are joy, I am joy, all the time, but we will never feel this. In verse 36, the 54th pointer Sri Krishna shares, he is gambling. Sri Ramakrishna shares that we have three enemies. I think he calls them the Trikara, or the three Ks. And they are Kamini, Kanchana, and Kirti. In English, pleasure, possession, and position. Zooming into possession, I'd share that one of the vices that comes with being materialistic is cruelty. And yesterday I used the word Raja. It's not a long A, it's Raja. As in, one becomes more Rajasic, aggressive. So be careful where there is materialism. The 55th pointer Sri Krishna is sharing that he is Teja. Teja is when you apply what you know. As someone who's been trying to share what I've learned from almost 15 years now, I try to follow the model of, if it's simple, then it can be rememberable, which means it can be practicable. So if you're finding it difficult to apply this and that, simplify. The 56th pointer Sri Krishna shares, he is Jaya, or victory. What Puja Swami Tejomayananda shared with us, victory is when the mind is united with the intellect. Winning is outside. Today, Portugal may win against Switzerland. Vivek may go to the game if Vyasa allows Vivek to go to the game. That's winning. But victory is when the mind is listening to the intellect. And if you're analyzing all of these examples, gambling is why the Bhagavad Gita is happening. If Raja Yudhishthira was not a gambler, there would be no Bhagavad Gita, correct? Jaya was the original name of the Mahabharata. Sri Krishna is completing his examples. Today, if I make it to verse 38, today is the last verse that shares such pointers to us. Then the 57th pointer, I'm still in verse 36, Sri Krishna shares, he is sattva. How do you know that you're nurturing sattva? I've shared many thoughts. Here's another. In chapter 14, Sri Krishna will share, sattva is when you're always moving upwards. In other words, with every experience, you evolve. In verse 37, the 58th pointer Sri Krishna shares, he is Vasudeva. He is himself. So narcissistic. And I had shared that we are part of the same family. When I was growing up in Niagara Falls, my parents sent my sisters and I to the closest school possible. That way they can work more and we can walk back and forth to school more. So we went to a Catholic school. We would go to church. We would sing hymns. And I remember the one line where the song goes, we are children, children of the light. And there's more to that. And that's a fine hymn, especially when it's connected to Vasudeva. We are his children. We are children of that light. In verse 59, Shri Krishna shares, he is Dhananjaya. He is Prince Arjuna. I'm reading a brief insight from Pujya Swami Chinmayananda. In the technique of teaching, requisite doses of intelligent compliments paid to the students are a necessary treatment by which their enthusiasm is revived, and they become all the more receptive for the discussion that may follow. How amazing is Sri Krishna in his teaching and Pujya Swami Chinmayananda for tuning into that. A subjective science is demanding, and we have to keep nurturing enthusiasm in each other to keep going. Sri Krishna did that, and Pujya Swami Chinmayananda is reminding us through his commentary to do so also. Pointer number 60, Sri Krishna is Vyasa. When people ask me what our son Vyasa's name means, if you Google it, Vyasa means editor. So I name my son editor. This is what I want you to do for your life. He edited because he was a visionary. I share with people, we named our son as a visionary. We pray that he becomes one. He is such a visionary that Acharya Shankara was to die. His body was to die when he was 16. But Rishi Vyasa doubled his life because he was doing that much for humanity. Sri Krishna shares amongst the kavis. Kavis does mean poets. It means those who are knowledgeable. He is Acharya Shukra. The details behind this, why Acharya Shukra is being highlighted, is because he taught the asuras. Though he is knowledgeable, he had the compassion to even teach the asuras, those who are selfish. That requires large-heartedness, correct? In terms of Acharya Shukra, how we can internalize this more, I'm moving to Srimad Bhagavatam. In Srimad Bhagavatam, there's a beautiful portion called Shukra Niti, the policies that Rishi Shukra has shared. Here's one of them. Dharmaya yashasirthaya kamaya swajanaya cha panchada vibhajan vittam ihamutra cha modhate. And shared very simply. It's like as soon as I start, I'm running out of time. Rishi Shukra tells Raja Mahabali, the one who wants to be happy today, now, they should share their resources in 5 ways. 1, 2, 3 are for one's own pleasure, possession, position. So that's 60%. The 4th, swajana, which means one's family. And the 5th, another 20%, should go to dharma, to furthering these subjective sciences on how to be happy. On December 4th, feels like it was a long time ago, I had a meeting with Chinmay Mission Cleveland Steering Committee. And we have found a really lovely property in Cleveland that we want to make our own ashram. In this meeting, our treasurer was sharing we have $445,000 in our savings account. And the property that we're seeking is $595,000. So we were short $150,000. So in Vivek's heart, from December 4th to December 18th, that's 15 days. In Vivek's heart, I've begun the Jayanti Drive, which is to raise $150,000 in these 15 days. So far, we've raised more than 50. Now, I'm challenging all those who are in Cleveland. If you don't do this, who will? When we think of sustainability, so much of the world is already sharing the next country will do it, correct? In the States, the next state will do it. I want us to feel, those who are investing in Bhagavad Gita, what if their Puja Swami Chinmayananda said, the next teacher will teach them Bhagavad Gita? What if there was no meaningful mornings? Someone else will do it. So please internalize, personalize. 1/5 of our resources should be to further Dharma. Verse 38. These are the final 4 pointers. Sri Krishna's train of thought ends here. Samapta. Dando damayatam asmi. Nitir asmi jigishatam. Maunam chaivasmi guhyanam. Jnanam jnanavatam aham. Sri Krishna shares, I'm just going to list this out. Amongst punishers or controllers, Sri Krishna is danda. Danda means a stick or a scepter. Jigishatam, amongst those who want to be controllers, Sri Krishna is niti, which means policy. I'm going to highlight that in the final day of the happiness series, that the only way to rule people, to control people, is through discipline and love. For you to be disciplined and for you to love people, then people will be ruled by your example and they will be controlled by your love. Guhyanam, amongst secrets, Sri Krishna is mauna, keeping one's mouth closed. And finally, jnanavatam, amongst those who are knowers, he is jnana. And this is such an incredible sharing. It essentially means that greater than one's guide is one's map. Greater than a sadhu is a shastra, and the implication of that is objectivity. That a subjective science, how to be happy, should never be about a person. It should be about the path to the presence. Please reflect on verse 38. I will review this. This is complete. We move on to the completion of chapter 10. From inspiration to application. Your application recently was to find out which is your strongest and weakest leg. I reflected on this more for myself. My strongest leg is daya, which means empathy, but it's also my weakest leg. I've reflected that I'm empathetic in thought and action, but I can be more empathetic with my words. I don't follow Priya speaking beautifully enough. I can be sweeter. I can be softer. I'm reminded about that every day from my family, from our crew. And your other application was to be part of the happiness series. How many of you were part of this last night? Great. What's very special about our happiness series is all of the dialogues are being facilitated by our Devis. Yesterday, Sheila. Today, Shashikalaji from Boston. Your application for today is continue to be part of the happiness series, but sit with someone who needs to be part of this happiness series. You pay them to sit beside you. That will be your 20% contribution to Dharma. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Be safe, be sound, be serene, be joy.